The following is disseminated on behalf of Planet Ventures.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cindy Edwards from PR Media Now. Planet Ventures recently pivoted toward futuristic sectors like space technology and lunar infrastructure. Planet Ventures CEO Etienne Moshevich joins us now to tell us more. Hello, Etienne.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great and so good to talk to you. Now,
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Our pleasure. Planet Ventures recently announced investments in General Astronautics and GRU Space, which is targeting a lunar hotel by 2032. So, what was the catalyst for shifting the portfolio so aggressively towards space robotics and lunar infrastructure?
Thank you. First, thank you so much for taking the time and thank you for the question. What we wanted to do, what we wanted to build with Planet is we had a war chest of cash and assets. As of right now, we're sitting at about around $20 million in cash and assets. And we want to put that to work for our shareholders in what we believe is going to be the next massive run in an industry. And there are so many opportunities that we were seeing in the space industry, but they're all private. And so, what we wanted to build with Planet was we want to build a portfolio in Planet of all private space investments. And these are investments, obviously, as private companies, regular investors can't get into them. Like, you can't get, regular retail investors couldn't get into SpaceX or OpenAI or a lot of these top companies while they were private. They would get into them when they would do their IPO at 100 times higher than what a lot of these private investors got into. So with Planet, because of our cash position, because as a public company, we're in a much better position to raise more funds to continue to make these investments. With Planet, we wanted to build a portfolio of 10, 20, 30 private investments, specifically focused in the space investment, in the space realm, because we believe that's going to be the next massive move. And we're already seeing it with SpaceX going to go public. Like, there's a lot of money being invested in this space, and a lot of incredible companies that are being backed by some of the biggest names, and Jeff Bezos with Blue Origin, Elon Musk, SpaceX, Eric Schmidt. I mean, there's a ton of them. And so with Planet, we wanted to build this portfolio that gives regular retail investors or institutions or anyone access to these private investments through Planet. So as a shareholder, if you invest in Planet as a shareholder of Planet, you will then get exposure to these private space companies. And right now we have Mantis Space and Terrace that we just announced this morning, and GRU Space, and General Astronautics. There are several others that we're working on, and we want to build a portfolio of 10, 20, 30 of these space investments, because as you know, in this industry, you don't know which one's going to be the next SpaceX,
True.
or an OpenAI on the AI side or anything. You don't know. It's so, and there's so many. The interesting part is it's not just in space. It's not just, okay, which company is going to build a rocket to go to the moon. It's not that. There are so many different industries within the space industry: aerospace and defense, mining, tourism in space. I mean, there's defense. I mean, the amount of opportunities we're seeing is incredible. And so we want to be invested in all those facets of space. And hopefully one, two, three, hopefully all of them, you never know, will become a massive, massive win. And investors in Planet will get exposure to those investments through Planet. And the other thing that kind of puts us in a much better position is the team that we're building. We currently brought on 3 new advisors to the team, which I encourage everybody to go on our website and take a look at, our news releases. And we're continuing to build and add on to this team. And it's through this team that we get these opportunities. These are angel investors, people that are in the space industry. This is how we're getting the deal flow. And so that's how we're seeing these opportunities, and that's how we're going to build our portfolio.
Well, your portfolio spans everything from quantum computing, which I think is extremely exciting, and AI to mining. So, as CEO, How do you find a synergy between those industries, and what's your specific criteria now for determining if a company fits the Planet Ventures brand?
Great question. So a lot of Planet Ventures is an investment issuer. So as an investment issuer, we look at all different industries, mining, AI, quantum, space right now. And so a lot of those positions we've had, and because Planet has been around for a long time. I took it over about 2.5 years ago. And so we've made a number of different investments. We bought and sold many investments. And so right now I just see a massive opportunity in the space industry. And that's where we're kind of focusing a lot of our intention and a lot of our capital into these investments, because I think that's where we're going to get the most upside. So when we see an opportunity in other sectors, like we did in the quantum computing space a year ago, we took advantage of it and we jumped in early because Planet had the cash to do it and we can make decisions quickly. And it turned out to be very lucrative investment for Planet and its shareholders. But right now we see a massive opportunity in the space industry. And you see some of these. There was an ETF, I think it's called VCX is the ticker, I think, in the US. And it's called Fundrise. And it gives regular retail investors exposure to private companies, not just in space, but just private hyper growth companies. A lot of them are based in the Silicon Valley, and the stock has done extremely well. And because that's regular investors, the only opportunity they have to get into this space and get exposure to these investments. And you're seeing right now some of the top investment management companies, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, are offering through their wealth management business, are offering alternative investments, private equity investments to their clients.
Mhm.
And now everyone is saying, the top advisors are saying the 60-40 stock bond portfolio, you got to change it up right now and add in alternative investments, private equity, whether it's 10% of your portfolio, 20% of your portfolio. It's up to you and your risk tolerance. But so we're building exactly that with Planet. So hopefully, as an investor in Planet, you get exposure to an extremely exciting hyper growth opportunity in what we believe is an fast growing, incredible industry that's only going to continue to grow, in our opinion, over the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, it's growing faster than any of us even imagine.
Yeah.
What is the one thing you want people to know about Planet Ventures valuation and its future trajectory under your leadership?
Thank you. So number one, I am the CEO, the single largest shareholder of the company. So I put my money where my mouth is, number one. Number two, we're sitting in an incredible position to make these investments. I'm not telling investors, hey, look, this is our plan. And if we raise money, we will go ahead and do that. No, we've already have the money. And so we're going to do that. This is what they're going to be seeing. And so with $20 million in cash and assets, we're in an incredible position to take advantage of these opportunities. Because as you know, you have to come up with the money in a lot of these opportunities today, right away, get into them. And we're in a position to do that. And so we're sitting at 20 cents. 20 cents a share. We're a $30 million Canadian market cap with $20 million in cash and assets. Investing in what we believe is a very exciting opportunity in space. And so we think we're an incredible value. I'm obviously biased as the CEO and largest shareholder, but I think, and the other thing that's I think very important for investors to know is that, as if you were to do it yourself, and let's say you had $50,000 that you wanted to allocate, you can put $10,000 in 5 different investments, and then you stop because you have 50 grand allocation. So now you wait and you hope that one out of the 5 work and do well, but you can't really put in more money into new investments until one of them work. With a public company like Planet, we don't have to do that because not only are we working with a lot more money with 20 million in cash and assets, but number two is we also as a public company have the ability to raise more money. So we don't have to wait until one of them hopefully becomes a SpaceX one day or something. We can raise more money going down the line if we're able to show our investors that, look, the first 3 that we've done are progressing extremely well. They're raising money at much higher valuations than we're doing, or we've sold stakes in or pieces of stakes in these ones that we have. we can show the market that we can continually raise money to keep building our portfolio. And so who knows, maybe we can move our portfolio and grow it from 4 or 5 investments as it is right now to 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50. And that just gives our investors a much better chance of hitting a home run with a SpaceX or something like that.
Certainly an easy way to get exposure to a lot of up and coming companies. Etienne Moshevich, thank you very, very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
And you can check out planetventuresinc.com for more information. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.